Hello everybody, today we are going to see function overloading. So I have taken two questions which will illustrate function overloading. We'll see one by one. So first question I have taken is, it is a function overloading polygon. So it has three functions which has a name polygon. The first function has two arguments, one integer and one character argument. You have to draw a filled square of side n using the character stored in ch. So here this is the size of the pattern, and this character, whatever you are giving in this the character, will be printed on the screen. And you can notice one thing, it is a void function, it doesn't return anything. So that means you have to print the output in the function itself. Second one, void polygon x, integer x and integer y. So again you have two integer arguments. Here it will be the rectangle, it will draw a filled rectangle with the length x and breadth y, with the symbol which is given in the question, that is @ And the final function is, it doesn't have any argument but it prints a filled triangle. So you can see an example given here. So for the first one, n value is 2, character is O, and you can see a filled square. Second one, x value is 2, y value is 5, so you can see the output, it is filled rectangle. And finally you don't have any argument, it just prints a filled triangle. So now you are going to see the program. Right, so I have given the name as polygon, and you can see the function void polygon integer n and character ch. And I have used it, since it is a square function, I am using the same n for both the loops. So it is a pattern type program, so you have to use nested loop. So I use I and j, and I have used same n for both the loops so that it will give you a square pattern. And I am printing the character given here. And then to break the line I am using system.println. Now the second polygon, it gives you two arguments x and y, where x will be the outer loop. So this outer loop will execute till x number of times, and then the inner loop will execute y number of times. So this outer loop indicates the row and this inner loop indicates the column. And as the question suggests, you have to print @ symbol. So here you can notice I have not given any double quotes, I have given single quotes. Still this program works because it is a character. So if you use double quote also, it doesn't matter. And the final polygon, as the question says, you have 3 rows. So I have given the outer loop as less than or equal to 3, and then it is an increasing pattern. So it is a tree type pattern. So I am increasing the inner loop by I, and I am printing the asterisk as the character as per the question. So I am going to compile this. So no syntax error. Now close, right click, click on new polygon, click OK, right click on this. First I am going to select the first polygon, where I have to give one integer. So I am giving as per the question 2, and it is a character. Second argument is a character, so I am giving within single quotes. Okay, so close single quotes and click OK. So you can see the pattern. So according to the number of values, n value increases, so a pattern square also will increase. Now second one, integer x and integer y. So you have to give two integer numbers. The first one will be the row. According to the question, it is 2 rows and 5 columns. So we'll try this. So you can see the pattern. Okay, and then the third one. So it is just an pattern without any argument. So you can see a tree type pattern. Okay, now we are going to see the second one. I hope that you understood this. Okay, so I am going to show you the second type of question. So here I have taken series. Okay, so first series says it is 1 by 1 plus 1 by 2 plus it goes on till 1 by n. That means on you can see the numerator is constant, that is 1, and denominator is from 1 to n. That means you should have an loop from 1 to n, and then you have to return a double value. So this is very important. That means you have to use return statement. So you are going to see the program. Before that, we will go to the second pattern. Again, it is double series, double A and double N. That means you got two arguments here. So according to the series, you can see 1 by a square plus 4 by a to the power 5. It goes on. So you can notice one thing, that numerator and denominator, the difference is 1. If the numerator is 1, the denominator is 2. If the numerator is 4, the denominator is 5. And the difference between the numerator is 3. So what you can do is you can create another variable where you can write the differences as 3. So you can increase the values by 3. So this pattern also goes till n number of times. So you are going to see the pattern. Sorry, it's a series. So before that, we'll see the program. Okay, right. Now we can see double series, double n. So I have declared some variable which is of double type, because you have to return this variable. And you can see, since it is using double and it has been stored into a double variable and it is returning double, I am using a double loop itself so that it doesn't give any trouble. So you can see double I equal to 1.0 semicolon I less than or equal to n I plus. So it's a straightforward one. So sum equal to sum plus, the numerator is 1 for throughout the series. So you are using the same thing, and divided by I. So I value will increase by 1. So it will be 1 by 1, 1 by 2, 1 by 3 goes on. So everything is stored under sum, and then you are returning the variable sum. So this is how you are going to return after the loop. The second series, you can see you got two arguments, double A and double N, and you got an similar type of variable where you can store the sum. And here you can see one is double I equal to 1, whether you give 1 or 1.0, it works because it doesn't matter, and j equal to 1. So you can see the condition is I less than or equal to n, because this pattern has to execute n number of times. But you have to notice that you have to give j and increase the j value by 3, so that you can see the pattern will be like 1 plus 3 is 4, 4 plus 3 is 7, it goes on like that. So here you can see the numerator will be 1, 4, 7, and denominator will be a to the power, the j value if it is 1, it should be 2. So a to the power 2, then a to the power 5, it goes on like that. That's why I given j value as j plus 1. And then finally I am returning the sum. Now I am compiling this. Okay, no syntax errors. Now I am going to execute this. So right click on this. So I am going to select the first series. Okay, so you have to give the n value. So I am giving the n value as 10. Now you can see the returned value has been displayed here. Okay, so this is the answer what you are going to get. So this is the value which has been returned. And now I am going to select the second one. So here I am going to give two values. So I am giving a as 3 and n as again 10. Okay, now click OK. You can see the answer which has been returned. So this is how you can write function overloading program. It is not necessary to write main function, because you can execute it function by function, and in your exams also you can write only the functions, not necessary to write the main function. Hope you understood what you have seen today. Okay, thank you.